You thought your dog stood in your way just to be annoying wrong. That simple act could mean they're trying to control your every move or even protect you from something you can't see. If your dog has ever blocked your path, paused in a doorway, or planted themselves right in front of you, it might be a coded message you've been ignoring for years. Stay with me, because what you learn today might change the way you walk through your home forever. So why does your dog really do it? Let's break down 7 hidden reasons your dog might be blocking your path and what they're desperately trying to tell you. Number 1. They're begging for your attention. In the only way they know how you walk through the hallway, coffee in hand, halfway thinking about your to-do list, and suddenly your dog stands right in front of you. Not wagging, not barking, just there, like a living roadblock. Sound familiar? Most people brush it off. Oh, silly dog, get out of the way. But what if I told you that stillness, that quiet block, is your dog's version of yelling for help? Dogs, especially older ones, know they don't need to bark to get noticed. They've studied you, watched your patterns, and when their need for connection bubbles up, not for food, not for walks, but for real emotional presence, they use the one tool that never fails. They stop you. Because if you're moving, you're not with them. But if they block your path, you have to pause. And in that pause, they hope, just maybe, you'll see them again. It's their way of saying, I miss you, without a single sound. Think about it. When was the last time you truly looked at your dog, not just passed by? When did you last sit beside them on the floor, eye to eye, without a screen in between? This behavior is more common in dogs who live with older adults, especially those who have routines, set schedules, or live alone. Because for your dog, you are the sun in their sky. And when that sun moves too fast, they'll do anything to make it stop, even for just 1 second. You might be thinking, that's sweet, but my dog's not that emotional. Are you sure? Or have you just gotten used to ignoring the quiet ways they ask for you? And here's the twist. This isn't the only subtle way they reach out. In fact, there's a reason your dog might block the exact same spot in the house every single day. That's coming up next, and trust me, it's not what you think. Number 2. This is their territory, and you just stepped into it. Have you ever noticed your dog always lies in the same hallway, same doorway, same narrow strip of floor that you have to cross? Not the couch, not the bed, just that one exact spot. Almost like they're guarding something. Well, you're not wrong. What if I told you that your dog isn't just lying there to nap? That very spot might be their invisible fence line, and every step you take past it feels to them like you're crossing into their world. Dogs by nature are territorial, not aggressive, not possessive in the way people often assume, but rooted in ancient instinct. To them, territory is not just space, it's memory, smell, safety. And when your dog parks themselves across a hallway or right in front of the door, they're doing more than getting in your way. They're drawing a silent line in the sand. It's as if they're saying, I've watched over this spot for years. This is where I feel your footsteps most, where I smell your shoes the strongest. This is where I know I exist. Because this is where you always pass by. Many older dog guardians tell the same story. My dog always lies by the bathroom door, or he waits at the end of the hallway. Why? Because those are the most trafficked zones, the heartbeats of the house. And what better place to plant yourself than where the person you love most always appears? Now here's the part most people miss. If your dog blocks that path over and over again, they're not trying to be difficult. They're trying to anchor themselves in your rhythm, to belong. to leave a scent, to stay relevant in a world that moves faster than they do. But what happens when that spot becomes empty? When they stop blocking your way, the silence can say even more than the obstacle ever did. And yet, that's not even the most loyal gesture they make. In the next part, we're stepping into a story that could change the way you see your home and your dog's role in protecting it. Number 3, they're protecting you from threats you can't even see. Picture this: you're about to step into another room. Maybe it's dark, maybe it's just quiet. And they're right in the doorway. Your dog plants their body like a silent guard. Not moving, not wagging, just watching. You step forward, and they shift not to let you pass, but to block you. Sound familiar? Most people laugh it off. Silly pup. But to your dog, that doorway isn't just a doorway. It's a border, a gateway between safe and unknown. And every time you cross it, they make a choice: stand aside. Or stand between you and whatever might come. Dogs are wired with an ancient code. In the wild, the leader doesn't walk into a new space. First, the protector does. They sniff, they scan, they check for danger. Your hallway might seem harmless. Your living room might seem ordinary. But your dog still reads it like a forest edge at dusk. They smell what you can't smell, hear what you can't hear, sense shifts you don't even notice. It's their way of saying, "I'll go first. I'll take the hit if something's wrong." They do this not because you're weak, but because in their eyes you're precious, their family, their entire pack. And if they have to be the shield, they will. When was the last time you paused and let your dog step ahead as if you understood their silent oath? When was the last time you thanked them not with treats, but with a slow, reassuring touch? And here's the twist. Sometimes the threat they're protecting you from isn't physical at all. It could be a sound, a smell, even a mood shift in you that they've picked up on. Blocking your path becomes their ritual of keeping you safe. But that's only one layer, because in the next part, you'll see how this very same act standing in your way can mean something much softer, something far more emotional. Number 4, they're saying, "Don't go," even if they can't say a word. Have you ever stood by the front door, keys in hand, shoes, on ready to step out, only to find your dog suddenly lying right in your path, not barking, not pacing, just waiting, quietly, staring, like their presence alone could hold you back? It's easy to miss. We're often in a rush. But for your dog, that moment feels like an ending. Not forever, but enough to make their chest tighten. Because they don't know if you'll be gone for minutes or hours. They just know you're leaving, and they're not coming with you. Blocking your way in that fragile instant isn't mischief. It's mourning. A soft, invisible leash they throw across the hallway, hoping, just hoping, it'll keep you close. Dogs suffer from something we often overlook: separation anxiety, especially as they age or as their humans become their entire world. And older adults feel this too. That sense of a quiet house, of eyes that watch the door long after it's closed. But here's what's truly heartbreaking. Your dog doesn't want to stop your day. They just want to be part of it. Blocking your path isn't a protest. It's a whisper: stay. Even just one more minute. Even just one more breath. Have you ever sat back down even for 30 seconds just to let them lean on you before you go? The way their body melts into yours, it says more than any bark ever could. And yet, not every blocked path is heavy with emotion. Sometimes, it's the exact opposite. What if I told you the next reason your dog steps in your way is pure joy? A spark of energy that says, "Tag, you're it. You won't want to miss what's coming next." It's the happiest reason of all. Number 5. They're inviting you to play. Even if it looks like they're in the way, you're walking through the hallway, focused maybe with a laundry basket or a grocery bag, and suddenly there they are, right in your path, eyes bright, tail thumping. And if you look closely, you'll see it, that tiny crouch that bounce in their front legs, the glimmer that says, "Your move, human." It's not random. It's not obstruction. It's a game. And you've just become the unwitting second player. Dogs are brilliant when it comes to body language. When they want to play, they don't always grab a toy or bark excitedly. Sometimes they set a trap by simply stepping right into your route. Think about it. What's the one thing they're sure you'll react to motion? Obstacle. Change. So they become the interruption. And when you swerve, speak, or stumble, in their mind, the game has begun. For many dogs especially, those who don't get as much structured playtime as they used to, blocking your path is like tossing you a secret invitation. It's how they say, "Chase me, wrestle me, notice me." It's joyful, hopeful, full of puppy energy, even in old bones. And for older dog parents, this is one of the most bittersweet joys. Because every time your dog initiates play, it's not just about movement, it's a sign of health, of trust, of lingering youth in a world where time always moves too fast. Have you ever said, "Not now," when they did this? We all have. But next time, what if you paused? What if you played just for a minute? Just long enough to remind them and yourself that life is still allowed to be silly. But here's what's wild. Not all games are playful. Some are tests, little experiments your dog runs to figure you out. What happens if you ignore them, step over them, move them aside? In the next section, we're diving into how dogs use blocked paths, not just for fun, but to study your every move. Number 6. They're studying you, one step at a time. You think you're the one watching them, checking if they've eaten, if they're limping, if they've been to the water bowl. But what if I told you your dog is watching you even more? Studying you, testing you, and blocking your path might be part of their little experiment. Dogs are masters of silent observation. They don't need a journal or a calendar, they track you by rhythm, by scent, by breath. When they step in your way, they're not just stopping you, they're collecting data. What happens if you slow down, if you step over, if you get frustrated, or if you smile? Your dog registers it all. It's not about dominance, not always. Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes it's worry, but often it's their way of learning you better. And they do it with more patience than most humans ever could. Have you noticed how your dog chooses when to block you? It's rarely random. It's often when something in you shifts emotionally, physically. They're not testing boundaries for fun. They're asking silent questions. Are you okay today? Why do you seem different? Will you notice me if I do this? For older adults, this bond becomes even more profound. When you live alone or move through quiet routines, your dog becomes not just company, but witness. They observe your habits like sacred rituals. And when something feels off, they act. One paw in the hallway, one stare across the kitchen, one blocked path. You might think you're in control, but dogs, they've been mapping your soul since the day you brought them home. But here's the twist. What if all this observation, all this silent decoding leads to one moment? A moment when your dog needs something from you, but doesn't know how to say it. In the final reason we'll explore, we'll talk about the cry for help that hides in plain sight, and why some dogs block your path as a last desperate form of communication. Number 7. They're telling you something, and you're their last hope. You'll listen. There comes a moment when the barking stops, when the tail doesn't wag, when the energy to nudge or whine or bring a toy just fades. And what's left? One quiet action. Your dog stands in your path. They look up. They don't move. They don't blink. They just wait. It's not a game this time. It's not affection. It's not curiosity. It's a message. And they're hoping, pleading that you understand. Dogs are smart. Smarter than we often give them credit for. When they've tried everything else and you still don't notice, they switch to the one thing that always gets your attention, being in your way. Because if they block your path, you'll have to look down. You'll have to see them. And maybe, just maybe, you'll notice what's wrong. Maybe they're in pain. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they're hungry, but don't have the energy to go to the bowl. Or maybe, and this is harder to say, maybe they feel something changing in their body, something they can't name, but instinctively fear. And in that moment, standing between you and the next room is their way of saying, "Please, don't leave me like this." Have you ever felt like your dog was trying to say something, but you just couldn't decode it? This might have been it. That one block in the hallway, the doorway pause, the sudden stop in your tracks. It could have been their final question. Will you hear me now? And this is where everything comes full circle. Because every reason we've explored, from attention to territory, protection to play, leads to this truth. Your dog doesn't just share your space. They share your life, your rhythm, your silence, your soul. And if you've ever doubted that, wait until you hear what science says. In the next part, we're going to explore the research, yes, real studies, that prove dogs understand and communicate with us in ways far beyond what we've imagined. You don't want to miss it. So the next time your dog steps in your way, pause. Don't just step around them. Don't brush it off as silly or stubborn. Pause and ask yourself, what are they really trying to say? Because every blocked hallway, every doorway, pause every moment they plant themselves right in front of you. It's never just random. It's love. It's memory. It's protection. It's a whisper of, "I see you. Do you still see me?" Dogs may never speak our language, but they write stories on the floorboards we walk every day. And if we pay attention, those stories tell us everything we need to know about connection, about aging, about being truly seen. Maybe your dog is asking to play. Maybe they're asking you to stay. Maybe they're just saying, in the only way they know how, "You're still my whole world." If this video helped you see your dog in a new light, even just a little, consider staying with us. Subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to discover in the quiet moments between you and your dog. So many signals we've all been missing. Until now. And tell me in the comments, has your dog ever blocked your path in a way that made you pause? I'd love to hear your story. Because sometimes the smallest behaviors carry the deepest meanings. And trust me, your dog knows you're listening now. You might believe that letting your dog sleep in your bed is only a sweet routine. But research from New York reveals nearly 7 out of 10 dog owners invite their pets into the bedroom. For many, it feels comforting. Yet science shows it can do far more. This habit can shape your emotional well-being, your sleep quality, and the bond you share with your dog. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden effects of bedtime snuggles, proof that something so ordinary may hold extraordinary meaning. So what exactly happens when you drift off with your dog beside you? 1. Why so many people let their dogs sleep in bed? Have you ever wondered why so many people allow their dogs into the bed every single night? At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a sweet habit, a way to keep close to the animal you love. But when researchers in New York asked over 1,000 owners about their nightly routines, Nearly 70% admitted their dogs slept in the bedroom, and half said they were right there under the blankets. Why do we open that sacred space, a place we usually guard with privacy, to a creature that sheds snores and sometimes takes up more space than we do? The answer is rarely just about comfort. For many older adults, or those who live alone, that warm body curled against them is more than company. It is a reminder that they are not facing the night alone. Imagine lying down in silence after a heavy day, and then feeling a gentle weight at your side, steady breathing, matching yours. Isn't that more than habit? It's almost instinct, a calling from something ancient. As we step deeper, you'll see this nightly ritual is not just personal choice, but biology and emotion woven together. And what comes next may surprise you even more. 2. The hidden emotional bond created at night. When a dog curls up beside you at night, it may look like nothing more than affection. But what if I told you that something invisible, almost magical, is happening under the surface? Researchers discovered that when dogs sleep close to their humans, their heartbeats and breathing often fall into rhythm with ours. It is as if two separate lives begin to move in harmony, like instruments in the same song. Have you ever felt your dog sigh just as you exhaled, as though the two of you shared one body for a brief moment? That is not coincidence. It is biology whispering trust. In the wild, wolves only sleep shoulder to shoulder with those they trust to guard their lives. Tonight in your quiet room, your dog is telling you the same story: I choose you as my pack. And for you, in moments of loneliness or sorrow, that presence can feel like an anchor holding you steady in a storm. But what if this silent bond is shaping more than feelings? Could it actually change the way your body rests? The way your sleep unfolds? The answer lies in the next discovery, and it may shift how you think about every night you share your bed. 3. Do dogs really improve your sleep or disturb it? We often hear dog owners say, "My dog never disturbs my sleep." And maybe that feels true. You drift off, wake up, and nothing seems unusual. But what if I told you that your body may be reacting to their tiniest movements even when you don't notice? In one study, women who wore sleep trackers showed subtle shifts in rest every time their dog twitched or shuffled. Imagine a stone dropped into a pond. The ripples may be small, but they still reach the shore. Could it be that your dog is the stone in your nightly waters? Yet here is the twist. While some interruptions occur, many people also find that sleeping beside a dog locks them into steadier rhythms, almost like having a gentle metronome beside the bed. You fall asleep faster, wake at more consistent times, and follow your dog's natural clock without realizing it. Isn't that curious? A creature who once followed the moon and stars now guides you into healthier patterns. But what if this gift comes with a hidden cost? If you've ever woken groggy and couldn't explain why, your dog's midnight shuffle might be the missing piece. And the story only deepens when we uncover how dogs soothe not just your sleep, but your restless mind. 4. How sleeping beside a dog reduces stress and anxiety. Picture the quiet of night when the world finally slows, yet your thoughts refuse to rest. The ceiling feels endless, the room too empty, your heart racing as if carrying the weight of an unseen storm. Then there's a shift. A soft body presses close, warm fur brushes your skin, and the sound of steady breathing fills the silence. Suddenly, the storm quiets. Isn't it remarkable how a dog does not speak a word, yet manages to calm a restless mind better than any lullaby? Service animals trained for veterans with PTSD prove this power. Many are taught to sleep beside their handlers because science shows their presence lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and steadies the heart. Even without training, Your own dog does something similar each night, offering a kind of therapy, wrapped in fur and trust. Some owners describe it as a living anchor, keeping them from drifting too far into loneliness or panic. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The relief isn't only emotional. That nightly calm spills into physical health, lowering blood pressure, slowing your pulse, and creating a space where your body can finally heal. Yet, could there be another layer, still hidden one, that affects not only your mood, but the very strength of your immune system? That surprising connection is where we're heading next. 5. Boosting your immune system. While you sleep, most of us think of sleep as the time when the body simply shuts down like a house with its lights turned off. But in truth, the night is when your body repairs, restores, and quietly fights its unseen battles. Now, imagine adding your dog into that picture. While they curl up beside you, they may also be giving your immune system a secret gift. Strange, isn't it? We usually think of dogs as carriers of dirt, fur, and allergens. But research shows that early and regular exposure to the microbes dogs bring indoors can actually strengthen human defenses. It's like training your body's soldiers with small skirmishes, so they're ready for the real fight. Children who grow up with dogs are less likely to develop asthma and allergies later in life. For adults, those nightly snuggles can broaden your immune system's awareness, teaching it tolerance instead of overreaction. And beyond microbes, the act of stroking a dog releases oxytocin, a hormone that lowers inflammation and helps your body heal. So while you drift through dreams, your dog's presence may be quietly rewriting your biology, pushing you toward resilience. But of course, every gift comes with a warning. For some, especially those with fragile health or compromised immunity, that same closeness could carry risks. And this is where our story takes a sharp turn, because the comfort of sleeping with a dog isn't always harmless. What dangers might be hiding beneath the blankets? That's what we need to face next. 6. When sharing a bed could be a health risk for many. The idea of sleeping with a dog feels like comfort itself, but comfort can be deceptive. Think of your bed as a sanctuary, a private temple where your body retreats to heal. Now, imagine that temple slowly being filled with invisible guests, bacteria, allergens, even tiny parasites that your dog unknowingly carries in from the outside world. You may not see them, but they're there, hitchhiking on paws, fur, and even their breath. Could this sacred space turn into a hidden battleground? For most healthy people, the immune system adapts, even grows stronger. But for those with asthma, severe allergies, or weakened immunity, the risk is real. A restless cough in the night, a skin rash that won't fade, or that heavy morning fatigue. Sometimes the culprit is the very companion you invited under the covers. It's not betrayal, it's biology. Dogs explore the ground we would never dare to touch with bare hands, and they bring a piece of that world back to us each evening. So does this mean you must banish your dog from the bed forever? Not always. With mindful hygiene, regular vet care, and simple boundaries, you can still share that warmth without sacrificing your health. But the question lingers: what happens when your dog decides not to share the bed with you at all? Could that choice carry a message you're missing? The answer lies in the next chapter of this story. 7. Why some dogs refuse to sleep next to you. Not every dog curls up at your feet or nestles into your side. Some prefer the floor, the hallway, even the far corner of another room. At first, it can sting. You might wonder, does my dog love me less? But often the truth is more practical than painful. Imagine an older dog, joints aching like rusted hinges, choosing the firm ground over the soft sway of a mattress. Or think of a dog with a keen nose unsettled by the faint scent of detergent on your sheets. To them, the bed may not feel like safety, but discomfort. Other times, refusal is about independence. Dogs, like people, carry moods and preferences. Just as you sometimes crave solitude, your dog may want its own space, a patch of floor where it can stretch, breathe, and keep watch like a quiet guardian. It doesn't mean rejection. In fact, many dogs choose positions that allow them to guard doors or windows, protecting you in silence while you sleep. Isn't that a different kind of devotion? But here's the hidden warning when a dog suddenly stops sleeping beside you. After years of closeness, it could be more than preference. Pain, stress, or illness might be whispering through that choice. Ignoring it could mean missing early signs of trouble. So the question is not just where your dog sleeps, but why. And as we peel back this layer, we must also confront another truth. Sharing a bed is not only about feelings, it's about hygiene too. And that's where the next twist in our story begins. 8. The hygiene risks. No one talks about your bed is supposed to be a sanctuary. A place where the sheets smell fresh, the air feels clean, and your body can finally let go of the day. But what if, without realizing it, you've invited the outside world into that sanctuary? Dogs live close to the ground. Their paws walk across sidewalks, grass, dirt, and sometimes things we'd rather not imagine. When they climb under your blankets, they bring tiny traces of that world with them. You don't see it, but it's there like invisible shadows, clinging to their fur. Have you ever woken with an itch on your skin, or noticed your pillow didn't feel as fresh after your dog had burrowed into it? That's not just in your head. Studies have found that beds shared with pets often hold higher levels of allergens, dander, and even bacteria. For most healthy adults, the body fights these off quietly. But for seniors, people with asthma, or anyone with a fragile immune system, these hidden guests can trigger restless nights, coughing fits, or worse, infections that creep in silently. And then there's the subtle erosion of rest. A dog shifting, licking, or scratching in the night may scatter particles into the air, disturbing not only your sleep, but also the very air you breathe. It's like sharing your sanctuary with a visitor who never fully leaves. Does this mean you should push your dog away? Not necessarily, but it does mean awareness is vital. Wash bedding, often groom your dog regularly, and keep that sacred space balanced between love and health. Still, hygiene is only one side of the story. The body doesn't just react to risks, it also thrives on hidden benefits. Could sleeping with your dog actually protect your heart in ways medicine struggles to? That's the surprising truth we uncover next. 9. The surprising heart and blood pressure benefits. Think about the last time you placed your hand on your dog's chest and felt that steady rhythm beneath your palm. It's not just comforting, it's contagious. Studies show that the simple act of petting a dog can lower blood pressure and slow your heartbeat, almost as if your body is tuning itself to the calm tempo of theirs. Now, imagine this happening, not for a few minutes, but for hours through the night, as you both breathe in sync under the same blankets. Could it be that your dog is silently reshaping your heart's health while you sleep? Doctors often warn us that stress is the hidden thief of longevity, sneaking into our bodies and eroding the heart with every restless night. But a dog lying against you acts like a shield against that thief. Their presence reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, which relaxes blood vessels and eases strain on the heart. For older adults, where hypertension is a constant shadow, this nightly companionship can be more powerful than any white noise machine or relaxation tape. It's nature's medicine delivered through fur and trust. But here's the twist worth lingering on. While the benefits are profound, they are not universal. For some, the very closeness that calms the heart may also rob the body of deep restorative sleep, undoing some of that healing. It's a delicate balance, like walking a tightrope between comfort and risk. So how do you know if your dog is helping your health or quietly stealing from it? The answer may lie in the patterns of your sleep itself, patterns that shift over time in ways more profound than most realize. And that's where our story takes us next. 10. Long-term sleep patterns shaped by your dog. Have you ever noticed how dogs seem to know exactly when it's time to rest? And when it's time to rise, they live by rhythms, written not on clocks, but in their bodies tuned to daylight meals and instinct. When you let a dog share your bed, those rhythms don't just stay inside them, they begin to shape yours. Slowly, almost invisibly, your nights fall into sync with theirs. You might find yourself going to bed earlier, waking at steadier times, as if your dog has become a living, breathing alarm clock. Sleep researchers call this entrainment when one rhythm pulls another into alignment. But for you, it feels more like companionship. Instead of tossing and turning at midnight, or waking in the haze of dawn, your body learns to follow the calm pattern beside it. Think of it as a tide. Pulling a boat, your dog is the tide, and you are carried along without even noticing. Over months, even years, this can reshape your health, improving consistency, stabilizing mood, and sharpening focus through the day. Yet not all patterns are blessings. Dogs sometimes stir at odd hours, responding to sounds outside or their own restless energy. If repeated, those small disruptions can carve into your long-term rest, like water wearing down stone. The question becomes, is your dog guiding you toward balance, or slowly teaching your body to live in fragments of sleep? The answer isn't simple, but it leads us to the final question in this journey. Because sometimes the clearest signal comes not when a dog stays by your side, but when it chooses to step away. 11. Signs. It's time to let your dog sleep separately. Every bond has its seasons, even the quiet ritual of sharing a bed with your dog. For years, it may feel perfect, steady warmth, rhythmic breathing, comfort against loneliness. But sometimes, the bed itself begins to whisper warnings. Have you ever woken groggy, your head heavy, as if you never truly rested, or noticed your dog pacing, scratching, even jumping down in the middle of the night? These are not random quirks. They are signs subtle as shadows that the time together in bed may no longer serve both of you. Older dogs with aching joints may find soft mattresses hard to navigate. For them, each climb is like a hill, each jump down a risk of pain. Allergies or immune issues in humans can also turn nightly closeness into a hidden health hazard. And sometimes the signal is emotional. A dog that once nestled close but now chooses the floor may not be rejecting you. It may simply be asking for space, a chance to breathe easier in its own corner. Can love still be love, even with a little distance? The answer is yes. True devotion isn't measured by inches of mattress, but by the unseen thread that ties you together across the room. Sometimes stepping apart at night strengthens the bond during the day, giving both body and mind the rest they crave. And here is the final loop: whether your dog curls at your side or on the rug nearby, what matters most is trust. Trust that in the morning, those same eyes will greet you, tail-wagging, heart loyal. Because love isn't confined to the bed, it fills the home you share, and it always waits for you at dawn. Most dog owners think it's cute when their pup spins in circles, licks their face, or drags across the carpet. But what if I told you these so-called funny habits could actually be red flags your dog is begging you to notice? As a veterinarian, I can promise you ignoring them could mean missing the earliest signs of pain, illness, or even a life-threatening condition. And here's the scary part. One of the behaviors I'll reveal today is something over 80% of owners dismiss as normal until it's too late. Stay with me, because once you understand what these hidden signals truly mean, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. Number 1. The tail-chasing warning. At first glance, it looks funny. Your dog spinning like a furry tornado chasing its own tail, as if the world disappeared. You probably laughed, maybe even grabbed your phone to film it. But let me ask you, what if that playful spin wasn't a game at all, but a desperate signal? Imagine a record stuck on repeat, circling endlessly with no way out. That's what obsessive tail chasing feels like inside your dog's mind. While puppies may chase tails out of curiosity, an adult dog doing it again and again could be battling boredom, anxiety, or even pain deep in their spine. The scarier truth: some dogs injure themselves so badly they bleed, unable to stop the cycle. So next time you see that spin, don't just smile. Ask yourself, is this joy or is this suffering? And if tail chasing hides a secret, wait until you hear what face licking really means. Number 2. Why does your dog lick your face? Love or survival instinct? Every morning before you even reach for your coffee, there it is. That wet, sloppy kiss right across your cheek. You smile, maybe even whisper, "I love you too." But what if I told you your dog isn't simply saying, "I love you"? What if they're reading you, tasting you, almost like scanning your emotions with a hidden radar? To your dog, your skin is a living diary. The salt from your sweat, the faint changes in your hormones, they reveal stress, joy, even sickness. It's less like a kiss and more like a medical exam disguised as affection. Think about that. Could your dog know something about your body? Before you do, cancer patients have reported increased face licking before diagnosis. That's not coincidence, it's instinct. But here's the twist. It's not always about love. In the wild, puppies lick their mother's face to trigger feeding. So when your dog licks you, part of them may be checking, have you eaten? Where have you been? What secrets do you carry in your skin? Beautiful, right? But also unsettling. And if face licking makes you uneasy, wait until we uncover why your dog kicks furiously after pooping. It's not about covering anything up. Number 3. The poop-kicking secret. You've seen it, your dog finishes their business, then suddenly launches into a furious dance, scratching the ground like a tiny bull in the arena. Most owners laugh and assume, oh, they're just covering it up like a cat. But here's the truth. They're not hiding anything. They're broadcasting. Every scratch of those paws is like hitting send on a scented email. Invisible pheromones are released from glands in their feet, painting a chemical message across the ground. It's a message only dogs can read: their age, their health, even their social rank. Think of it as graffiti in the dog world, loud, bold, and impossible to ignore. And the harder they kick, the stronger the statement. Have you ever wondered why some dogs scrape so aggressively, while others barely touch the soil? That's dominance versus submission written in dirt. Scientists have discovered other dogs can smell these messages weeks later, like reading a newspaper headline long after it was printed. Amazing, right? But if ground scratching is about leaving a mark for the world, what about when your dog turns their attention to grass and starts eating it like salad? That habit holds an even older secret. Number 4. Why do dogs eat grass, just a harmless snack, or something more serious? Picture your proud carnivore, a descendant of wolves, suddenly lowering their head and munching on your lawn like a sheep at a buffet. You laugh, maybe even think, oh, they just like salad. But here's the unsettling truth. This act is older than domestication itself. For some dogs, grass works like nature's medicine cabinet. Certain blades trigger vomiting, helping them purge toxins or soothe nausea, almost like a green bottle of Pepto-Bismol. But here's the twist. Only about 1 in 4 grass-eating dogs actually vomit. So why are the rest chewing obsessively? Scientists believe it's a wolf legacy, a ritual passed down from ancestors who used grass fibers to flush out intestinal parasites. And for many modern dogs, it's not sickness at all. It's addiction to texture taste and the sweet sap inside young blades. But beware. If your dog is frantically devouring grass every day, it could mean something far darker: inflammatory bowel disease or even tumors hiding deep inside. So next time you see that lawn munching, don't just shrug it off. Because if grass can be medicine, it can also be a silent cry for help. And speaking of comfort, have you noticed what your dog chooses to sleep on when you're away? That choice reveals even more. Number 5. Sleeping on your clothes. Have you ever walked into your bedroom only to find your dog curled up on the very shirt you tossed on the chair, ignoring the expensive bed you bought just for them? At first it feels cute, maybe even funny, you think. They just love the smell of me. But pause for a moment. What if that habit wasn't only about comfort, but about survival? Your clothes hold thousands of microscopic scent molecules, tiny invisible fingerprints of who you are, where you've been, even how you're feeling. To your dog, those molecules are more than fabric. They're home safety and medicine all at once. When you leave, your scent lowers their stress hormones, easing the ache of separation, anxiety, like a natural anti-anxiety drug. It's their way of hugging you when you're not there. But here's the deeper question. Are they seeking comfort, or are they desperately clinging to proof that you'll come back? In the dog world, scent is ownership. When your dog buries their nose in your worn clothes, they're also guarding you, marking you as mine, against the invisible competition of the outside world. And the dirtier the clothes, the stronger the bond. Beautiful, isn't it? But also heartbreaking, because it means your absence weighs heavier on them than you realize. And if their bed of choice says this much about their emotions, wait until you see what their urge to dig holes in your yard really reveals. Number 6. The digging mystery. You spend hours perfecting your backyard, planting flowers, smoothing the soil, only to wake up the next morning and find craters everywhere, as if a tiny construction crew worked overnight. You might think, why is my well-behaved dog turning my yard into a battlefield? The answer is older than any fence you built. Buried deep in their DNA, your dog carries the instincts of wolves who once dug dens for survival. In the heat of summer, just a few inches of soil are cooler than the air, creating a natural air conditioner. In the cold of winter, those same holes trap body heat, forming a crude but effective shelter. What looks like destruction to you is architecture to them. But that's not all. Some breeds were designed for it, terriers with paws like shovels, driven to chase prey underground. For others, digging is therapy, a way to release nervous energy like humans, stress eating at midnight. Pregnant dogs even dig to prepare a nursery, repeating rituals of ancestors long gone. And sometimes, the digging reveals secrets you never suspected. One dog uncovered a leaking water pipe, saving its owner thousands of dollars. Incredible, right? But here's the bigger question. Is your dog digging to play, to cope, or to warn you of something hidden beneath the surface? Because if dirt can hide their deepest instincts, what about the simple stretch they give you at the door? Could that be hiding a love letter in disguise? Number 7. The stretching secret. You open the door after a long day, and there it is. Your dog lowers their chest, stretches their front legs, tail wagging like a flag in the wind. You smile and think, oh, they just woke up from a nap. But what if that stretch wasn't about stiff muscles at all? What if it was their way of whispering, I love you in a language you've never truly understood? In the wild, this posture is called the greeting bow, a ritual reserved for the most trusted members of the pack. It's not laziness, it's readiness. That stretch releases the tension from waiting all day, preparing their body to leap to play, to celebrate your return. And here's the extraordinary part. When they do it, their body releases oxytocin, the same love hormone that floods through a mother holding her newborn. Imagine that your dogs stretch, syncing their heart with yours. But here's the question, do they stretch this way for everyone? Or only for you? Security cameras show dogs almost never greet strangers with this ritual. It's personal. It's sacred. And the deeper the stretch, the stronger the bond. Beautiful, right? But if a simple stretch carries such devotion, what does it mean when your dog proudly drops a toy, a sock, or even a dead critter at your feet? The answer is stranger and more touching than you think. Number 8. The gift mystery. You've seen it. Your dog trots proudly across the room, tail wagging high, something dangling from their mouth. Maybe it's their favorite toy. Maybe it's your missing sock. Or maybe, to your horror, it's a dead mouse. You laugh, you scold, or you sigh. But let me ask you, what story is your dog trying to tell with that offering? In the language of wolves, bringing food to another pack member was the highest act of loyalty. It wasn't about sharing, it was about survival. When your dog drops that soggy tennis ball or that chewed-up slipper at your feet, they aren't saying, play with me. They're saying, I'm providing for you. You're my family, and I don't want you to go hungry. Strange as it sounds, some dogs genuinely believe you're a terrible hunter who needs help. And here's the twist. Dogs often choose their gifts based on your emotions. Feeling sad, they might bring you a playful toy, hoping to spark joy. Feeling stressed, they may offer something soft or comforting, as if handing you their version of medicine. Isn't that remarkable? They're not just sharing objects, they're sharing their soul, their trust, their deepest instinct to care for the pack. But here's the haunting question. Do you recognize it as love, or do you dismiss it as annoyance? Because, for your dog, every gift is a piece of their heart, wrapped in fur dirt or slobber. And if gifts can speak this loudly, what about something as subtle as a tilt of the head? That simple motion might be decoding your very feelings, and it's even more fascinating. Number 9. The head tilt puzzle. Picture this. You say your dog's name, and suddenly their head tips to the side, eyes wide, ears perked like they're trying to solve a riddle only they can hear. You melt inside because it looks adorable. But here's the truth, that tilt is not just cuteness. It's calculation. Think of it as a living radar dish, adjusting angles to capture the faintest sound waves. Dogs use the tilt to triangulate exactly where a noise is coming from, like scientists running physics experiments in real time, only with fur and floppy ears. But it's not just about sound. When they tilt, they're also adjusting their view, peeking around the obstruction of their snout to read your lips, your eyes, the micro-expressions on your face. Imagine someone leaning closer to catch your whispered secret. That's what your dog is doing. And here's the part that might surprise you. Research shows dogs tilt more when hearing emotionally charged words than when hearing neutral ones. Could it be that they're not just listening, but actually feeling with you? Some even fake head tilts, because they've learned it melts your heart and earns them treats. Manipulative geniuses, aren't they? But let me ask you, next time your dog tilts their head, will you still see cute? Or will you recognize the silent effort to connect mind to mind? Fascinating, isn't it? And if something as subtle as a head tilt reveals so much about their brain. Wait until you see what happens when their whole body explodes into chaos. Those wild zoomies might not be as harmless as you think. Number 10. The zoomies. You've seen it, the calm, sweet dog who suddenly transforms into a lightning bolt, sprinting circles through the living room, sliding across floors, bouncing off furniture like a furry pinball. You laugh, maybe grab your phone to capture the chaos. But here's the question. What's really happening when your dog explodes like that? On the surface, zoomies look like pure joy, the canine version of dancing when the music is too good to resist. But beneath that chaos is biology. Dogs build up energy like a pressure cooker, and the zoomies are the steam valve bursting open. Some triggers are innocent post-bath relief, the thrill of seeing you bedtime jitters. But other triggers whisper something deeper. Puppies zoom more because they're practicing survival, how to escape predators, how to hunt with speed. And here's the dangerous part: on slippery floors, thousands of dogs injure themselves each year during these frenzied sprints. Fractures, sprains, even torn ligaments. That's joy turning into risk in the blink of an eye. So ask yourself, are the zoomies just fun, or are they your dog's desperate way of burning energy you haven't helped them release? A safe play session or a daily walk might prevent chaos from becoming danger. And if a whirlwind of energy can hide such urgent needs, imagine the meaning behind something as simple as a yawn. Because when your dog yawns at you, it may not be sleepiness at all. It could be a quiet scream for help. Number 11. The yawning mystery. You're sitting on the couch, your dog looks at you, and suddenly that long, dramatic yawn escapes. You chuckle. Guess someone's ready for bed. But what if that yawn wasn't about sleep at all? What if it was your dog's way of whispering, "I'm overwhelmed and I need help"? Think of yawning not as bedtime behavior, but as an emotional safety valve. Dogs yawn 5 times more when stressed than when tired. It's their version of deep breathing, pulling oxygen into the brain to calm themselves, to think clearly in the middle of chaos. Imagine standing in front of a crowd, nerves racing. You take a deep breath to steady yourself. That's what your dog is doing, only their breath comes wrapped in a yawn. And here's the touching part: yawns are contagious. Not just between humans, but between dogs and the people they love. When your dog catches your yawn, it's proof of emotional synchronization, as if their heartstrings are tied to yours. But here's the darker side. Excessive yawning during training or loud environments may mean your dog is drowning in anxiety, silently begging for a break. Do you see the warning? Or do you mistake it for sleepiness? Because if a simple yawn can reveal hidden stress, imagine what it means when your dog lowers their head to lick your feet. That act may look silly, but it carries centuries of meaning. Some of it sweet, some of it unsettling. Number 12. The foot-licking mystery. You come home, kick off your shoes, and before you know it, your dog is glued to your feet, licking like they've just discovered a 5-star buffet. You laugh, maybe wrinkle your nose, and say, "Gross." But here's the unsettling question. Why are they so obsessed with your feet of all things? On the surface, the answer is simple. Sweat. Your skin carries concentrated salt, a mineral dogs crave, especially after you've been walking or exercising. To them, your feet are the saltiest part of you, irresistible like a hidden candy stash. But the story doesn't end there. In the language of wolves, licking the feet of an alpha was a gesture of submission, a way of saying, "I know my place. I respect you." When your dog licks your toes, it may not be about taste at all. It may be worship, a humble ritual carved into their DNA. Yet, there's another twist. Excessive foot licking can signal something missing in their diet. like a sodium deficiency, or even reflect their anxiety channeling nervous energy into a compulsive habit. So ask yourself, is this affection addiction or a cry for balance? Fascinating, isn't it? Because behind every lick, scratch, or stretch, your dog is speaking a language older than words. So now you know every tail chase, every sloppy kiss, every stretch at the door. They were never just quirks. They were messages, ancient signals carried through centuries of evolution, whispered in a language only a dog and their human can share. Behind the zoomies, the yawns, even the obsession with your old socks, lies a story of trust, survival, and love so deep it doesn't need words. Think about it. Your dog doesn't speak, yet they tell you everything through eyes that tilt paws, that dig, and tongues that never seem to rest. The question is, are we truly listening? Because the more we understand, the stronger the bond becomes. And for a dog, that bond is their entire world. If this video helped you see your dog in a new light, don't let the learning stop here. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and stay with us. Because in the next video, we'll unlock another hidden truth that could change the way you look at your best friend forever.